Hello and welcome to Wii Sports Resort Bingo League 2021, an 8-player competition for Wii Sports Resort Bingo, one of the perhaps most underappreciated, but one of the most interesting categories on Wii Sports Resort, or a category extension, I should say. Very excited to announce this. We've got a great lineup and a lot of effort has gone on beyond the scenes, so I hope you do enjoy it. Now, the format will be 4 stages long. All 8 players will play each other once in normal triple bingo. They're split into 2 groups, 1st to 4th and 5th to 8th after that first round. So then in round 2, the players in each group play other members of their own group twice in normal lockout bingo. The top 3 of the 1st to 4th group go through to the semi-finals, but also the top player of the 5th to 8th group. So everyone still has a chance to win after the first round, going to the semi-finals. The rest go to the 5th to 8th placed round. Now, afterwards, there's a semi-finals, which are best of 5, and it's a different form of bingo each time. There's also a semi-finals for the players in 5th to 8th, so there's a full placement. And then there's a gold and bronze medal match, and also a 5th place playoff and a 7th place playoff. And these are best of 7, again with a different form of bingo each time. So I should announce the players, the order of players, which determines which order they'll be playing other players in, was determined by random draw. Representing the United States of America, Garrett. Representing Tome and Principe, EpicCrossover. Representing Great Britain, Benson, and also representing Great Britain, myself, MKBW50. Representing the United States of America, Toad 3007. Also representing the United States of America, Alaska XB2. And also representing the United States of America, Z Mr. O. And finally representing Canada, Bendersaras. The schedule for the first week then is Garrett versus EpicCrossover, Benson versus myself, Toad 3007 versus Alaska XB2, and Z Mr. O versus Bendersaras. It's the first round, so it'll be triple bingo normal. And we're going to also play the first game between Garrett and EpicCrossover. It will be with post commentary. So, just a reminder then that it will be Garrett representing the United States of America, and he's using the red squares, and EpicCrossover of Tome and Principe using the teal squares. Both players underway then. Garrett taking the time to study the card, while EpicCrossover are going straight in to return challenge. And I've played Garrett, and played with Garrett a lot of times. He does like to do this, take some time at the start to study the card. So it looks like Epic using a guessed me, so he'll be going for any stamp in table tennis return challenge. The stamps are get 50, 100 and 200 points. So obviously getting the latter 2 also achieves the first one. There's also I believe hit 30 cans and get 100 points without hitting the opponent's face. Garrett's still studying that card, looking what route to take. We'll see if that strategy pays off. I've lost many a run to untiming, but yeah, Epic just going for the 50 points and getting them. And that's the stamp, really the only stamp that's viable. He eventually goes into skydiving, does Garrett. Now there are 2 skydiving ones there. Get any stamp and take a picture with Gwen. I'll just as Epic goes into Frisbee Golf, not sure if you're going for Gwen. Getting Gwen would be the stamp. The others are high 5, I think, get 30 others and get 200 points. And there's a 5th one. I can't remember this. So he's going for high 5, which I think he's already fulfilled the conditions of, but he's doing it again. What you need to do there is get a picture with 5 people and have them all facing the camera. You'll see if it counts if the circle goes around the head. and he's still not satisfied he got it. He's clearly not going for Gwen then. As for Epic, well, there's quite a lot to do in Frisbee Golf. He has gone into Classic C. Let's see. There's Complete Resort B in Frisbee Golf, which he's not doing. Complete Classic C there, column 2, row 2, so getting that row 2 connection. It's also Complete Classic A if he wants to do that after. Complete Classic B as well. So a lot of 3-point stages, and also finish any Frisbee Golf 3-hole course with only the driver Frisbee. It's his choice whether he wants to complete that. It looks like he is doing it with just the driver. As Garrett finishes his skydiving adventure. EpicCrossover had a little bit of difficulty on 17 there, but he got to the end, and Garrett did get his stamp, so that looks like he won't be going for Gwen then. And now Garrett's entering Frisbee Golf, perhaps got a clear purpose as he took that time to study the card at the start, whereas Epic went straight in. We'll see who that pays off for. But he's considering, no, doesn't want a stamp. And he's going into Classic B. Yeah, no stamp on this course. Does need to just complete it with the driver if he wants the one on column 5, row 5. Epic just finishing up hole 18. Garrett has thrown it out of bounds on hole 1 and 16. We've all done that a lot of times, and then well, Epic's completed his Frisbee Golf, and now going into Golf Proper. Again, quite a few ones on that. Get par or under par on any 3-hole course in golf. Doesn't want the stamp there. Give up on 5 different holes in golf. There's another one. Just seeing if there are any more. Finish any 3-hole golf, any 3-hole course in golf without touching bunkers or water. Complete Resort B in golf. Classic C as well, and give up on 2 different holes using just water hazards. Epic getting the par there. And both of them just, well, doing their thing on golf. Trying to complete the stage as fast as possible so they could move off it. Garrett not having the best of time, I suppose. Being limited to the driver Frisbee, not the most helpful. As he moves on to 15. Meanwhile, Epic moving into 6, so he's on Resort B. Hoping for a few squares crossed off in one fell swoop there is Epic. Good shot there from Garrett, getting the eagle and more importantly saving some time. And pissing off the driver Frisbee. Well, Epic, we hit the bunker, but I think he might have another choice. Garrett going straight back into Frisbee Golf, this time on the Classic C. Not limited to the driver anymore. And that means that he's probably going for that top left to bottom right diagonal. Epic just having problems with his putting, and we'll lose him a bit of time. Garrett getting a bad throw there. And that can sometimes happen with decade-old motion control technology. Epic finishing off his golf there and moving into archery. Hit the 10-point mark in archery 3 times in a row. Didn't get anything else from his golf. I suppose he'll want a short interlude. But I think he'll probably have to head back in as Garrett gets out of 16 with not too much fuss. So hit the 10-point mark 3 times in a row. That's a good start. Can sometimes be tricky, this, even though it's on beginner stage 1. But he does it without issue. 3 10s, and he's out of archery as quick as he was in it. Meanwhile, Garrett getting through 17, no problem. And Epic going back into golf. And this time on Classic C. Well, that is a square in its own right, column 4, row 4. But he'll also want to have a look at maybe completing some other ones there, depending on what he's choosing. Does do the shortcut on 16 very well. Doesn't hit the bunker, which is would be good normally, but a problem here. And also doesn't hit out of bounds, which would probably put paid to any chances of getting a par or make it too risky to consider. Garrett, well, throwing the frisbee straight up again, this time on 18. And to be honest, it does make the putts a bit easier, I suppose. But he's going to miss it. Meanwhile, Epic gets through 16 quite easily. And now on to 17. So Garrett's done frisbee golf and now moves on to golf proper. Just studying the card again, make sure he's doing it right, and eventually picking Classic C. Would just be a par putt for Epic, and he's underhit that quite a lot, which does make it a bit trickier for him. And it's, well, yeah, unless he gets an eagle, I think, on 18, he's in trouble. Eventually he gets away with the double bogey. Yeah. He'll need an eagle if he wants column 1, row 1. And it's either that or returning to golf or just not using that one. He doesn't have to go for that square. Garrett. Nice shot on 17. He can probably claim a par from this. Although he has hit the sand, which is a bit of an issue. Lovely shot by Epic on 18. And he does have a chance for an eagle, and this would get him the par he desires. And that's a lovely putt under pressure. Well, after he messed up 17, he has redeemed himself on 18. And he is very much still in this week 1 bingo game. Very important to get to a good start, even with a format that's quite forgiving. He's now going into skydiving to get the stamp, I presume. Or no, he just wants the pitch with Gwen. Well, that's very interesting. I'm not sure if he's made a mistake there, or he just genuinely doesn't want the stamp. Well, not sure what route he's taking then. Unless he's made a mistake. Well, this could be costly if he has. But perhaps he's just seeing a route I'm not seeing. Well, I'm not sure what he's doing here. Oh, I've realised that me is a fresh me. Normally you'd have to use a guest me, but a me with no experience points and no stamps is also permitted in the regulations. So I think he's going for the high 5 stamp, and yeah, he's certainly got it there. I'm pretty sure, and he's satisfied as well. Garrett's on a course for a, he just needs a par or better on hole 18. Risky shot there. Well, the risk paid off. Onto the left island. But it will take another good shot to get him on the green. He does only need a par. Well, he's got 3 shots on the final island. Probably 1 to approach and just 1 to par. Probably get a birdie here. But he has 2 chances to putt it when he hasn't made it easy for himself. In fact, he's put it on the fairway, so it's only got them 2 shots. Epic just finishing up with skydiving as he gets his birdie. As Garrett gets his birdie, I should say. And he also finished without touching bunkers or water. The stamp is achieved, and on Garrett goes. Garrett now looks like he's going to try and give up on 2 holes in golf with just the water hazards, and he's doing that on Resort A. Meanwhile, Garrett goes into Classic A on Frisbee Golf. Returning to Frisbee Golf, that is column 5, row 2. And that's all he's doing. Garrett off hole 1 and moving on to 2. Decides to go for the longer puddle there. As Epic birdies on 10. Garrett continuing to, well, he's off it now and he's moving on to archery. Looking for his nunchuck. Minor Tumnossen. Thought, yeah, going for 3-player strat seemed unnecessary. It's going for 1 player. Epic continues on to 12. Garrett gets his first bullseye, and he'll just need 2 more. And he gets both of them. 10, 10, 10. And that's 30. Now he's going on to cycling. Finish first on any cycling race. Close run thing here. This will take some time, but once he's done it, he'll have 2 lines going into the beach, which is genuinely accepted to be the fastest one. And now Epic moving on to the table tennis. He'll be beat an opponent in an 11-point match. This is table tennis match. He's already been in return challenge, and in fact for his first one, and he did pretty well. Gets the ace on Cole, so should be 11 points in a row, but he is allowed to give up points. So as long as he does win overall. Garrett moving up the field. There is a chance that he doesn't win the race because of how the computers work, the rubber banding, and that would be very costly and perhaps fatal. That would have cost an extra 2 minutes, but we'll just see what happens. Meanwhile, Epic is 6 points, over halfway there, and that's 7. Garrett doing very well on cycling here. Epic 3 away, and now 2. Not having any issue to get past Cole and getting ace after race. And a shot to the face to make it 11. Well, he just needs now 2 clocks in sword play, speed slice, and a stamp on bowling standard game to get done. Meanwhile, well, when Garrett finishes this race, he'll still have a line to complete. So I'd say he's behind here, is Garrett. Epic. Just looking at the stamps, I'll tell you what they are. Gobble gobble is just get a turkey. Split spare. A split is when the pins are quite far apart after the first. It'll be denoted by a circle if you see a score on the top left of Epic's screen. and getting a spare from that would be knocking down every remaining pin. There's also get 200 points and get 300 points and get a strike or a spare in every one. See what Epic's going for. I'd say pin dropper, the strike and spare in every one's the easiest. Epic not getting any strikes at the start. I'm not sure if this is his strongest sport, but his roting does seem to me a bit perfect. And wow, he's got a chance for a split spare here. You can see the circle. Oh, very close actually. He's trying to hit the outside of, I think that was the 10 pin, which is the strategy. He says continuing, perhaps just looking for a turkey or another split. Is Epic. Meanwhile, Garrett completing a stage of power cruising without going out of bounds. So he's going for the 1500 in bowling, 100 pin game, and 2 clocks in speed slides. So this is closer than I thought, as Epic seems to be having a bit of problems on bowling here. So this is going right down to the wire, folks. Epic still unable to get his turkey, his split spare, or the pin dropper stamp. And Garrett is out of power cruising. And he's got the momentum now. He can also do Resort B or Frisbee Doll, but he's going into a 100 pin game. Well, Garrett getting a strike on his first one. Now, a score of over 1500. First has to be 1501 or higher, and it also has to be done in one game because it is a score of rather than 1500 points. But Garrett getting a turkey, which is funny enough what Epic desperately needs now. He does have a chance for a split. He really has to just continue with bowling, even if he can't do it, at least until Garrett finishes, because it's the only chance he has of winning. I'm not too sure about his bowling technique, doing the overhand, but he does get a spare on his first one. If he just keeps racking up spares, you never know what could happen. But he is no time, and that's a strike, and that would be helpful. I would say that if he can't do it, I would still hold from giving up until at least Garrett's finished, and then just get it done. And oh, that'll be costly because he's throwing a guttable there. Again, he'll just continue, but Garrett is out, and well, Epic needs to hope for absolutely abysmal luck from Garrett, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. He needs 2 clocks. And he's got his first one. And Garrett using it to exit practice and go again, basically to restart the cycle, which is a smart tactic because obviously 2 can't be in a row, so it would take some time to find the clock again. So he's basically resetting it, which starts everything from 0, but it does make a clock more likely to get one early. 7 is quite good luck. Seems like it's not going to matter with struggling, and indeed that is bingo. 2 clocks for Garrett. And yeah, Epic has decided now that he can't win, he might as well exit bowling, which he seems unable to do, and just try and do some damage limitation, minimize the time differential. I have the exact times after. And he's going for the pitcher with Gwen, another tricky one, and one that's quite costly if he messes up. Do that, and he'll have to probably finish first in the cycling race as well as the 2 clocks. He's on 1 line right now. Obviously, the 2 clocks are easy to get, and finishing first in the cycling race. Well, he's obviously he went in early, and then he realised his error. He doesn't need the pitcher with Gwen, but yeah, finishing first in the cycling race. And of course his 2 clocks. If he does get this one, this is a tricky one. I normally like to pause buffer, and even then, I often can't do it. It's not easy, but it's worth a try. If he does get it, he can limit the damage to maybe 10 odd minutes. Big crossover. A bit of a baptism of fire, but he did get Garrett close. If he just had a bit better bowling, that was the difference. And Garrett perhaps studying the card, making sure that that the route he take was all sports he was good at, or tasks he knew he could do. Was Epic went straight in there, took an early lead, then got unstuck on tasks that ended up being out of his remit, and he's missed Gwen there by quite some distance. So it'll be a trip back to the bowling alley for him. And hopefully he does better hit. Will be difficult. Or don't think there are any other standard game bowling ones. Two spares from Epic. Of course, the split spare or a turkey would need the need for that. But if he just gets 10 spares in a row, then he's out of here. Live to fight another day. As he goes on to number 4, and he's missed a spare there. His players, obviously, the first match of the league, so plenty of time to make amends. Next week, Garrett will be playing Benders Russ, our only Canadian competitor, whereas Epic will be playing Zed Mr. O. Zed, or Z, I should say, as he's American, perhaps a player more known in the world of Wii Sports than Wii Sports Resort, but still, some of these achievements have definitely got to be respected in both games. And all 8 players here are good competitors. But Garrett, he holds a monopoly on world records and all stamps, probably the favourite in this game, in this league, sorry. In all stamps random seed. He has the world record in blackout, lockout, single and triple bingo. And he's shown his experience and just been in a different class to Epic today. Wow, that's unfortunate not to count as a split. He didn't get it in the end. And he's having another go at bowling. I'm trying to think of other routes that he could do. He'll need to do the clocks. Probably just trying to have a look what else he can do. Not too many options, actually. Couldn't get the split spare there. I'd have gone on the outside of the front pin on the right. But he tried to glide off the ball instead. Just looking for that opening. I'm not sure how long he'll stay in bowling for, but he does get a strike there. So 2 more. It is just about limiting the damage here. And couldn't get the strike, but of course in the spirit, I suppose. Gaming is considered a sport now, recognised by the IOC, so the Olympic spirit, still persevering even when defeat is certain. And when things look quite hopeless, that's disappointing. I think that should count as a split spare, but in the end it didn't. But here he has an opportunity. This will be difficult, the 5-10 split. All very close. I liked his strategy there, but he just couldn't pull it off. He's having one more go in bowling. And he's had enough, and I don't blame him one bit. Just looking at other alternatives on the card. He could, he can give up on 2 holes in golf using water hazards and also finish first in cycling, as well as the clocks and speed slides. That's what he's going to do. So in the end, this shouldn't be too hard. The strategy that Garrett used was the winning one. It was also easier, which meant that he could... Well, that's something for Epic to remember. A hole-in-one, he went on to Classic C, a hole-in-one on 16. Let's have another look at that. Lovely shot. And he'll give up on the 17 and 18, because there's no water hazards on 16. There is water, but it will hit and out of bounds before it hits water. So as I was saying, yeah, Garrett's bingo card, and that's the sign of an experienced player, not getting overwhelmed on your first match, not rushing in, just looking for the right route, the route that will cause the least problems. As well as being fast, his route was also easy. There weren't really anything that was too hard on it. Whereas Epic, as I said, he took an early lead, but he just was caught out by a square that gave him issues, and it's led to his defeat in this. Epic just continuing now. Giving up. He's giving up on 15. Sorry, on 14. Now give up on 15. Here's the part for the last one. It is faster, if sometimes harder. He comes away with a CR of 16 over par. That's purpose. So now moving on to cycling, and it's easy to throw in the towel here. But you just keeps on going, get a time, try to minimise his time differential loss, which will be the tiebreaker if people are level on wins. And he will be doing to the beach, of course, which is the fastest one. Just needs to come first, which, as I said, is easier said than done. Often there is rubber banding. Rubber banding not too bad on this stage, to be fair. It's more hard on stages 5 and 6, but it can still be workable. Of course, he wants to get the best time he can, exit swiftly, and then just move into speed slice. And we'll get the exact timings on at the end on the screen for you, but it's clear to me that EpicCrossover has fallen to the favourite in this match, despite a valiant effort and an early lead. And because this is the first game, I suppose it'll be 8th in the standings. But we have a lot of good action in week 1. Benson versus myself, which it'll be weird to post-commentate one of my own games and pretend I don't know the result, but there we go. Then we have Toad versus Alaska, our celebrity competitor, but a very good player in his own right. And also Z Mr. O versus Bender's Russ. Into the final stretch now. This is the shortest of the 6 cycling stages in Wii Sports Resort. To the beach. Yep, the rubber banding kicks in. Epic just needs to stay ahead. Looks like he should be safe. And then the relatively easy task, just good RNG in Swordplay Speed Slice. It would be quicker for him to restart and exit here, but I suppose it's not too relevant now that he's finished, but just something to keep in mind. There was no requirement for a stamp, so seeing through that wasn't unnecessary, and yeah, he's just going to Speed Slice now. And finishing off, which is very commendable, as I said. A lot of people would just been a bit sick of it after getting so close and losing and just not finish the card, but yeah, you need to go into practice there. Yeah, there we go. So it will be 2 clocks at the quickest notice. Gets to unleash some of his fury for losing on the various objects provided and the rest of his sword. And hopefully the RNG is kind to it. He gets the clocks, but for Garrett, what a big win. Methodically picking the right one. Well, there's the first clock. And getting a big time difference boost. Because he did what his opponent didn't and took that minute at the start to study the card. And it has proved the difference today. Just waiting for one more clock. Decided not to restart. It's a bit of a debate. I personally prefer to restart. But there we go, that's time. So both our players completing the card. Garrett of the United States of America winning today. He went with row 3, column 5, and the top, row 3, the top left to bottom right diagonal, and the bottom left to top right diagonal. While Epic, who lost today, top left to bottom right diagonal. Hold on, if I can just get that back up quickly. There we go. Top left to bottom right diagonal, column 5, and also top right to bottom left diagonal. Well, that's the first match of Wii Sports Resort Bingo League 2021, and indeed Wii Sports Resort Bingo League in general complete. I'll now hand over back to myself for the official timings and the early league table. So the official timings there: Garrett with a time of 20 minutes and 48 seconds, and EpicCrossover with a time of 35 minutes and 24 seconds. That means after round 1, Garrett has the early lead after just one game played. 14 minutes and 36 seconds ahead of EpicCrossover. Well, we've still got a lot of games coming up. The next one, an all-British clash as I take on Benson. And that should be going up a couple hours from now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed it enough to tune in for more. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.